Hello Steelers, and welcome to this part 3 of the Water Tower Hill half pint size campaign for Singapore. This is for Chain of Command, should I say, in Singapore. This is in the WSS Magazine 126, written by Mark Backhouse of Strength and Honour fame, and I've been playing through a couple of these. The last one I played with Dean, you'll remember. I'll put a link to the previous scenarios. This is the third of 4. This is a British counter-attack. This was by the 1st Cambridgeshire Battalion, A Company I think it is. These are attacking back onto to retake the Water Tower Hill, which is over here on my left-hand side. This was around 1400 hours. So in the afternoon, they start on the large houses of the Adam Park Estates and try to push through into the Japanese. This is a very simple attack and defence scenario from Chain of Command itself. So basically the British have got to force the Japanese off the hill, or at least destroy their force morale while retaining their own force morale at 3 or above. Otherwise it becomes a costly draw. So British are going to be over here, Japanese are going to be over here. There's probably not a great deal more I can actually say about this because I've already covered a lot of this stuff in the previous video, so go and check those out and you'll see how this is going. So this is the fresh British platoon trying to push in, and hopefully they might get a bit of a chance to give the Japanese a bloody nose this time. So this is our table looking from the Adam Park Estates down here, the colonial buildings and tennis courts, looking across the water drainage ditch, which will cost a unit crossing it 1 shock point. Also there's barbed wire fence here as well that the British actually puts up to stop the Japanese. When the British get to this, once we've done the patrol phase, the British can cut 3 15cm sections of it at least, and then we are going all the way up here to Water Tower Hill. As you can see there is the water tower on the top of the hill. So the Japanese are going to be starting on that side of the hill, whereas the British are going to be down here and trying to attack up. And as I say, the British have to destroy the Japanese force morale while retaining 3 of their own to win this game. Just quickly show you here before I show you the forces. I've already done the force morale rolls, and unfortunately for the Japanese, they're down on 8, whereas the British have actually got 11, so they rolled pretty high. The Japanese rolled very low. So this might be in the British favour at least, but let's see. Well, I'll show you the forces and then we will get on with the patrol phase. So here we have the 2 platoons, the British on this side, Cambridgeshire's, and then the Japanese on the right hand side here. These are just the jumping off points that I'll be putting on the table in a second. So it's pretty typical British platoon. You probably know this at this point. Lieutenants and a sergeant. Then we've got 3 sections, each with a corporal, a 3-man Bren team, and then also a 6-man rifle team. The British went for a forward observer for their support and a sniper team as well, so pretty hard hitting. They didn't get a huge amount of support points, but I thought they were probably the best ones. Japanese, on the other hand, they've got their Rikugun Sho, their second lieutenant, and also a Gunzo, their sergeant. Each of their squads led by a corporal, each with a 3-man LMG team and a 9-man rifle team, so they're pretty big and hefty. I think they take a lot of damage. They also have the mortar teams as well. They've got 3 of these, and these are led by another corporal as well down here. Then they also have, they've gone for their supports, they've gone for an MMG, which has only got a 3-man crew, even though there's 4 men on that base, but I'll remember there's only 3 on there. So that's the Japanese defence. I thought we'll go for a big static defence weapon rather than anything else, because that should cause a bit of damage. Right, so what I'll do is I'll do the patrol phase, and we'll see where we end up, and we'll get this game started. Okay, I've just finished the patrol phase. I do apologise, I forgot to film this, so I do apologise for those that like to see it, but the British had a pretty aggressive one. They managed to get 1 jumping off point here in the bush little on the right hand side of the Japanese. They push very far forward. They've got 1 here in the centre near the tennis courts, and then they also have another one there as well over on their left hand side. You can see it. It's kicking about in those bushes, believe me, is in there somewhere. They've also cut 3 sections of wire, 15cm sections of wire. The one there, they've got another one here, and then another one here, so ones that are quite close to the jumping off points, just in case they need to get through them or they have to run away. Meanwhile, the Japanese were pretty much they were forced up onto the top of the hill, and you can see all 3 of their jumping off points here. pretty much about halfway down. Furthest forward was this one over here in these bushes, and then they've got a couple more up on the top as well. So I think the fighting is probably going to be quite contained around the hill itself. Well, the British get the first go because they have the highest force morale, so I'll roll the dice and we'll see what they get up to. So British first roll. Let's see what we get. We got a 6 on its own, it does nothing, but they do have 2 chain of command points with their 2 5s, so let's put those in there. And they have a 4 senior leader and a 3 which is a junior leader as well, so it might be that they get a section on, get them in Overwatch, maybe even their sergeant, who knows, let's have a think about it. So the British have used their central jumping off point, they've got a section on this table, they've got them in Overwatch, so they are dominating that central area, looking up towards where one of the Japanese jumping off points is, because that's going to be the obvious most likely where the MMG will come from, but they're there and they are ready to fire, so this is going to be the base of fire, I think. So the Brits didn't want to use up that last 4, didn't want to put sergeants on just yet, just in case he wants to be somewhere out elsewhere. So Japanese, they've got a 5, gives them a chain of command point at least, and then they've got 2 2s and a 3, so they can't actually get, well, they can get a load of sections on. Do they want to? They might do actually, because that's a lot of firepower, and at least then they can cover some of these areas. I think they will do that, but at least bring a section on. So the Japanese have deployed their first section here with their one of their corporals, and they are just firing down on the British over here. They're just over 18 inches away, so they're actually hitting on 5s and 6s. British are in light cover. British are then going to react with their Overwatch markers, and they're going to fire back if there's anything remaining, which I'm sure there will be. Well, let's just see anyway. So the Japanese are hitting on, as we said, 5s and 6s, and they're in light cover. So let's have a look. We've got 1 2 3 4 5 hits. I mean, it's not going to be great at this range anyway, of course. So let's just see what those hits do. So British are in cover, so they're going to take 3 hits on the rifles. 6 is a kill, 4 5 is shock. 1 shock on those rifles. They got away with that relatively lightly, and then 2 hits on the LMG, and that is 2 6s. I spoke too soon, so that's 2 kills. Is it the junior leader, the corporal? No, it isn't. So it's 2 of the crew of the LMG. So that actually reduces its fire down from 6 down to 4, unless the junior leader swaps it over. So they're going to return fire. So instead of firing 6, that LMG is only firing 4, but they do have 6 other men as well in there with rifles. And same again, these guys are hitting on a these are hitting on a 5 up. So we've got 1 2 3 hits this time on the Japanese. That's what they seems about right, doesn't it? That. So 3 hits. The Japanese are just 1 section, so those hits are spread across all 3 of them. All of them. Let's have a look. 6 of the kills, 4 5 shock. Just 1 shock on the Japanese. So the British took a lot more casualties there than the Japanese did. A bit of a shaky start there for the British, but let's see what they get. Well, they retain the phase. They end the phase as well, which actually doesn't do much, but they do get 2 chain of command dice, so that takes them up to 4. They can't really do points, should I say? They can't really do much else with that. So let's just see what the next roll is. Okay, it's a bit more like it. 2 1s, which is 2 teams, a 2 and a 4. So a section, 2 1s and a 4. I think that's pretty useful actually. So just quickly to show you what I've done here, I brought on a second section here with the 2. They've gone into tactical, so they're now in hard cover. They were in light cover, they're now in hard cover, just in case. You can't see them, but they are in the trees here. I've brought on the Fu as well, so he's deployed over there. Meanwhile, we've also brought on, for the British, the sniper team as well. They're going to take a shot up here in a second. And then I've also brought on the sergeant. He has reduced shock. He's then moved 1 man over onto the LMG team to bring them back up to 6, and then he's getting them to fire with his 3rd and final command initiative. So I'll do that right now. So the British are going to start with that sniper fire. So this is hitting on a 3 up, double shock as well, hit as if in the open. So look, 3, that's a hit. So see what happens. And a 3 is shock, so that's double. So that's actually 3 shock on those Japanese, which is actually, I don't know if that's better than killing or if that's better overall. So let's just stick that on there. So that's 3 shock for them. She's slowly tipping away at them, that's the main thing. Then we got the British firing with the LMGs and the rifles. These are hitting on 5s up. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. That's pretty good. It's not bad out of the amount of firing there. And those are same again. 6 is a kill, 4, 5 shock because they're in light colour. So we've got 1 kill, no shock. Here's that kill on their junior leader. Let's have a look at 1, and it is. 4, no it isn't, so it's just 1 of the rifles. Just take one of those off. Well, let's see if the Japanese can improve their situation. I did actually forget, I could have brought on the mortar section with the Japanese, but oh well, forgot about it now. Anyway, we've got 3, so that gives them a 2 on their chain of command points. They've got a 1 team and 3 3s, so that is 3 junior leaders. I think they will bring on that mortar team now. So the Japanese are top of the hill have brought on their mortar squad over there at the top. They're going to fire with those. They've also produced their MMG as well to dominate this area down here. That's going to fire down at these chaps down here in tactical. I don't think it's going to do a great deal, but you never know. Then we've got their other senior, junior leader has reduced shock, and he is then going to get this section down here to fire down here. So let's see how that goes for them. So first things first, our mortars are going to fire down on the British section down here. So these are hitting, they're in line of sight, so they're hitting on 4s up, and they've got 6 shots. So 1, 2, 3 hits. These are in tactical and in light cover, so that takes them up to heavy cover. So 6 is a kill, 5 is shock. So 1 hit on the LMG team, 6 that's a kill, and 2 hits on the rifles. That's 1 shock. So 1 shock and 1 kill. Is that kill on their junior leader though? Let's have a look, see if it is. 5, no it isn't, but that is not good news. Then we have the MMG, and this is firing down as well. So this is firing with 10 shots, and this is again long range though, so it's hitting on this is hitting on 5s and 6s, and they are still in heavy cover. So let's have a look. This time we've got a lot more hits, 1, 2 than I expected. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. So that's going to be 2 on the LMG team, so 6 is the kills, 5 is shock. So another kill on the LMG team and no shock. And on the rifles, no shock on them at least. Is the hit on the junior leader? No it isn't. You wouldn't want to be in a Bren team, would you, in the British Army at this point? Feels like this attack has been blunted before it's even started. Well, it's only light casualties. So these, we've got the Japanese over here. These are firing down at the British down here, and their sergeant is in with those. So let's just see. These are hitting on 5s up. So the range, got 1, 2, 3 hits this time, so it's a little bit better for our plucky Cambridgeshires down there. So we've got 1 hit on the LMG team, is a 3, nothing. They're looking for 4 and 5 is shock, 6 is a kill because they're in light cover. And on the rifles, 1 shock. So they got away with that relatively unscathed at least. Well, the British need a little bit more luck at this point, and I think they need that mortar to be firing, if nothing else. Let's have a look. That could be useful. They've got 2 1s. 2 3s and a 4, so that is actually that's pretty good, to be honest. I think that's a good mix for what they need. So the British are using their first 3 over here for their junior leader. He's put a man over onto the Bren team. They're also using up a 1 for the Foo to contact the battery, so they've got through. These guys are going to fire, and I'm going to see what else happens after that with everything else, but we'll probably fire with that sniper and also maybe get the sergeant to do something as well. So let's see, these hit are in on 5 or 6. They're firing that MMG. There's only 3 men on that, so it might be quite easy to destroy, and that's what they're hoping for because it is quite fragile. So let's see. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits on it. So 6 hits actually. Didn't notice that 5 there. So that's 6 hits on it. 6 is the kills, 4, 5 is shock. So this might be enough to get rid of it. Let's have a look. Well, that's 2 kills and also 2 shock. So not only does it destroy, well, it kills 2 men, but it also breaks it as well. So that will then run. So that's going to run off the table. 2d6 plus 6. So look, that's 10 inches. That's definitely gone. So that is definitely a support unit routes. So let's just roll for bad things happen for the Japanese, for their first bad things happen. A 6 is 2 points off their force morale, so that takes them straight down to 6. That's not good. That's going to give me something to think about with the British, what they're going to do next. So what we're doing here with the British is their sergeant has activated on the 4. He has reduced shock. He's moved one man over to the LMG team, and then they are firing. We've also got our sniper firing as well. I've got that one down there just to remind me. So we'll start with that. 3 up is a hit. In light cover, they're in the open because it's a sniper shot. 5, 6 is a kill. 3, 4 is 2 shock. So let's have a look. That is a 5, so that is a kill. Is it on the junior leader? 1 or a 2 it is. 6, no it isn't, so it's another man. Then we've got the rifles and LMG firing, hitting on 5s up. Let's have a look. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 hits, which is not bad out of the number of firing, really, about average I would have thought. And those hits, 6 is the kills, 4, 5 is shock. 2 kills and a shock. Is that hit on their junior leader? 1 or a 2 it is. Yes it is. What has happened to him? Let's just see. He's been killed. So they've lost a man, another shock, and a killed junior leader. So that is another bad thing's happened immediately for the Japanese. Let's see what happens. That's a 3. A 3 on a junior leader killed is a point off. So they're down to 5 now. I don't know how foolhardy this is, but the British have brought on their 3rd and final section over here using a junior leader who has then put both teams on overwatch looking over that hill. So if anything fires, they will get fired at. I don't want them to fire now, just in case, depending on what the Japanese do in their turn, I guess. Right, speaking of the Japanese, it is their phase. So let's see, they have, oh that's not great for them, they've got a 3, a 2, a 5, which is a chain of command point at least, and then 2 4s, which are senior leaders. Not a huge amount they can do with that. Well, there's bits and pieces, so I think they'll let's have a think about what they're going to do. First things first, the Japanese senior leader Gunzo has come on, and he has reduced shock over there using that 4. Then he's getting the rest of the guys to fire, so they are firing with 12 dice down here, 5s and 6s, 1, 2, 3, 4 hits on those Brits, so 2 hits on each of those teams. So let's have a look, see what happens with those. So rifles, 6 is a kill, 4, 5 shock, nothing. And the LMG, same again, 5, so 1 shock on the LMG, and that's it. So pretty desultory firing there from the Japanese. So this is maybe where that British deployment might come slightly unstuck. The Japanese have brought out a section, another section over there, and they are firing with them down at the ones here down on Overwatch. They will return fire, of course, but they are hitting on 5s and 6s. That's why I put them on Overwatch. 1, 2 hits for all that firing. So they're obviously, they can't even see what they're doing. First one is on the LMG team, 5 or 6 is a kill because they are in the open, 6 is a kill, and on the rifle team, same again, 2 kills. Is it on the junior leader? 6, no it isn't. So they did get away with that relatively slightly again. The British are going to return fire with the Overwatch, so that'll come off in a second. Oh, there's a lot of 6s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. That is definitely above the odds. 5 hits on those, so they're in light cover. So 6 is a kill, 4, 5 is shock. So that is 2 shock, no kills though. And then finally over here, the Japanese are using up their final dice to attack with their knee mortars. So these are hitting on 4s up because they're in line of sight. So that is 4 hits on the British down here. Let's take those Overwatch off. So let's just see, we've got 2 hits, LMG team, these are in the open again, so 5, 6 is a kill, so another kill and a shock, and then 1 shock on the rifles. Is that kill on the junior leader? Yes it is. See what happens to him. He's killed outright, so let's just see what their bad things happen is for that. That's not good. 6, I think, is 2 off the British force morale. The British are taking a bit of a pounding, but they are throwing quite a lot back at the Japanese. Let's just see what they get. Well, they've got, that was cocked, but it was onto a 5, so they've actually got 3 So that ends a turn, 3 6s, ends a turn, and also they've got a chain of command points out of that as well for the 5 and a 3 there. There's nobody on Overwatch or anything, but we do have, I'm fairly sure we can do something with that 3. So they're keeping up the pressure on that middle section there, especially now their Gunzo is out. I mean, he might become a casualty as well. So let's just see. We're hitting on 5s and 6s, and they do retain that phase. So they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits. Bloody hell, this is definitely above the odds. Right, okay, so 6 is a kill, 4, 5 shock on those Japanese. That is 2 shock and also 2 kills. Is it on their junior or senior leader? Let's have a quick look. Yes, it is. Which one is it? 1 to 3 junior, 4 to 6 senior. It's a senior leader, so it's the Gunzo. What's happened to him? 3, he is lightly wounded. No, he's knocked out, but that is a bad things happen for him. And they also, how many? They took 2 shock, didn't they? So I'll just put that on there, and then we'll roll for that bad things happen. The bad things happen is a 3 for a junior leader, senior leader wounded. That is another point off the Japanese. They're down to 4 on their force morale. So they are taking a bloody hammering, I think, at this point. So the Gunzo is knocked out until the end of the turn, which it just has ended just now because of that triple 6. So let's see what the British get for the next phase. Well, they're retaining the phase again. They've got another chain of command point that takes them up to 6 and 2 3s. So that is again very useful. I think they will continue firing up that hill if nothing else. So because I've got that second phase coming, or the British have at least, what they're going to do is they're going to shuffle. They've shuffled forward tactically, so then they're firing half dice up there at those Japanese because they may get another chance to fire in the next phase. Let's have a look. We're hitting, because they're now in close range, they're hitting on 4s up, so that's 2 hits on the Japanese. Still though, they're in light cover, 6 is a kill, 4 5 shock. So nothing, no effect, but at least it's worth a try. Right, the final act here for the British in this phase. These guys at the back are firing up. I'm allowing them to fire over these ones because of the hill being so high. So they're firing up 5s and 6s of the Japanese section upon that hill. Let's just see what we get. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits on those. So that's pretty good. They're in light cover. 6 is a kill, 4 5 is shock. So that is 2 more shock on them. Not a huge amount of damage, but something at least. Okay, let's see what the British do with their next phase as they retained it. Okay, so they've got 6 does nothing, 2 3s and 2 1s. That is about exactly what they needed at this point, I think. So their first 3, well, their first 1 is they're going to use the sniper firing up there at those chaps up there. So let's see, 3 up is a hit, 4 is a hit, double shock again, so they're hitters in the open, 5 or 6 is a kill, so that's a kill. Is it on a junior or senior leader? They've already lost their junior leader anyway, haven't they? So 1 or a 2, it is on the senior leader. So look, 6, no it isn't, so it's on another fella. And then they are firing with the LMG and the rifle team. These are now hitting on 4s up because they moved. So let's have a look. Oh god, that's a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Only 2 missed there. Wow, that was some fire. So with that amount of kills, let's just see what they do. 6 is a kill, 4 5 is a shock. Ouch. 1, 2, 3 kills and 3 shock. So that takes them right up to 6 on their shock. And those 3 kills, is that on their junior or their senior leader? 1 to 3 it is. Yes, it is. What has happened to him? Gunzo is hit again. A 5, he is wounded, but that is also senior leader wounded, so that has taken him down. Let's take off 2 more figures as well, and I'll work out the shock. I think they're actually pinned now. Let me just double check. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 men in there, so they have double shock. No, 1 more shock, and then they will be pinned. But their morale for their bad things happen. Junior leader wounded on a 4 is 1 point off their force morale, so they're now down to 3. They are tumbling. Can the British keep up the pressure? So the British are now calling in the mortars with their 1. They've still got a 3 left to mess about with, but they want to use that 1 before they do anything else to see where the mortar lands, because it does block line of sight. If they put it here, it will actually hit all of the sections that are on the table at the moment with the Japanese. So let's just see. They need an 8 up for it to land on target. They are calling it in straight away. You do an aiming shot and then you could call it in, or you could do a straight fire for effect. They're going for fire for effect, so let's just see. They need an 8 or above, and that is an 8. So bang on. So let's see what they get. I'll cover the area in mortar fire, and then we'll probably do the damage on the Japanese. So that's pretty nasty. The Japanese have been hit. We roll for every team under the mortar fire, so that's pretty much everybody. There are 3 teams in the squad, the mortar squad, but there's only really 1 team in each of these sections. But they are all hits with 4d6, 4d6 chance of hitting on 5s and 6s. So we'll start with our decimated squad down at the front, and they are all pinned as well until the barrage ends. So the first one's 5s and 6s. Let's have a look. We've got 1 hit on them. Reduces cover. 4, 5. So they're in light cover, becomes heavy cover. Becomes no cover. So reduces cover. They are hit. So 5 or 6 is a kill. 3, 4 is shock. 6 is a kill. Who is it on? Senior leader. Let's have a look. 1 it is. No, it isn't. So it's another one of the fellas. But that has definitely pinned them anyway. So that's the first one. Second section up here. Let's have a go with those. So hitting on 5s and 6s for these as well. So that's 1 hit, and the good thing with the mortar is that it will also block line of sight as well, which is exactly what we wanted. And then we've got that hit is a 4, is a shock, so let's put shock on them at least. And then we've got 3 sections of that, or 3 teams of mortars. So the one at the front, so look, 5s and 6s are hits. This time we've got 2 hits on there. There is a junior leader kicking about in there as well, so 2 hits on them. These guys are in light cover, so that is same again. They're now in the open, so a 4 and a 2, so that's a shock on that first team there. Then we have same again, 5s and 6s for hits, 3 hits on the next team. See what happens to them. So 5, 6s are kills, 3, 4 shock. This time 1 shock, 1 kill. I'll top those kills up in a second. So they've got 1 shock as well. And then finally 5 and 6s on that last one is 2 more hits on them. Same again, 5, 6s are kills, 3, 4 is shock. So 2 more kills, so 2 of those have been killed. Is it on the junior leader that's with them? Let's have a look. A 3, yes it is. What has happened to him? A 2, he is wounded, but that is, he's knocked out actually, so that is a junior leader wounded. Let's see what happens there. Bad things happen. A 3, he's another point off, so the Japanese are down to 2 on their force morale, so they have taken a proper hammering from that fire, if nothing else. Okay, with that the Japanese have called it. The reason is their force morale just dropped down to 2 after they took another hit on that junior leader, meaning they've only got 3 dice. They've also lost a jumping off point, and on the other side of it, the British have got a chain of command dice, a full one, which they would spend to interrupt whatever the Japanese were going to do next anyway. So it's a campaign game. They are going to be pulling back as much as they can. They probably have lost this section at the front here. What I did finally just in that last turn is I moved forward this British section. They ran out the double to come up this hill, so probably what they would have done is they would have interrupted the Japanese turn, charged into close combat with them there just on the edge of the barrage, and because they're pinned, they would have really just taken hits, or they would have at least fired at them or done something, you know, and I think that would have wiped them out, which would have wiped out the Japanese force morale, so there's no point in kicking about. So this is the hill at the top of the water tower hill. So the British have actually won. They managed to push the Japanese back. They basically pinned all these units up here, the mortars, and also that the rifle unit here as well. They got forward about here until this junior leader was killed, and then they also had the other guys over here and their sniper team as well. Remember, he did sterling work, never missed. So basically, yeah, the British have managed to push back from Adam Park over here and got themselves up onto the hill again. So at least we've got one more scenario for the water tower hill, and I'll probably play that out and see where we go from there, and see if we can wrap up this we can wrap up this campaign or not.